Welcome, friends. Uh, Now we've been officially, we're just starting the meeting. Welcome, friends, to our third Zoom webinar of ILLC. Today was a special meeting with a new format of 2020 talk show. So this of new format, we will ask 20 questions, 20 interesting questions, which is collected from members around the world. So which we will be asking to the speaker, and the speaker will give you the answer and he share his experience and success stories in this particular format. I'm so excited, like you all, waiting to get the answer from the speaker. And this is the first time we are doing this 2020 show, and looking forward grand success, and looking forward your feedbacks to be very well on that particular thing. So let's move into the meeting itinerary. We'll just see the meeting itinerary now. Yeah. So today meeting, which is we are starting with topic 2020 show. We have been steps to success, how to achieve success one commitment at a time. So it will be our key speaker, Miss TOT member, Mr. Tim Clairmont. So he will be talking about the steps to success. So by the 20 questions, what you want to answer it all. So these are the meeting itinerary. Now we formally introduction, what is ILLC, and sharing the things what we are offering to the members. And we will introduction about Mr. Tim. Then Tim will take over the sections. We will have a talk show with 20 questions. So every 5 questions, we will interact with Tim. Will share his experience, and we can have some fun kind of questions we'll have with the team. So let's have make this meeting should be more interactive, so that then end of the meeting. So we will, once we completed 20 questions, any more questions you people have, just drop it in the chat box. So Tim will take the questions and we will answer it. That then we will thanks everybody. We'll end up the meeting. So this is the meeting itinerary. So let's see about ILLC. ILLC, we just started on 5th May because there's a training events. We want to do it for all the members around the world. So online trainings we are giving. We give them sales skills. We are just giving expert webinars, social media training we do, and emails and e-flight trainings, and give management skills, time management, and productive work from home. So last 2 meetings, I'm thanking Gayatri. Gayatri was connected digital marketing training, and Valentina was being connected for a motivation talk. I hope everybody liked it, both meeting. Today we have a great member and my mentor, well-wisher, and a great man, Miss Tim Clairmont was there. So looking forward. Tim was the qualifying life member and Mdrt with the 9 TOTs, 1 COT, and successful entrepreneur and best-selling author and public speaker. So today he will run the show. We have our first 2020 show, so he will be the hero for the show today. Yeah.
Too many accolades, Asaki.
welcome, team, for the meeting. So about introduction of Tim. Tim is a successful entrepreneur and financial industrial services based on the Portland origin, which is Tim been in career of founding Clear Financial Partners in strictly planning business services, pre-retire, and recently retired from Pacific Northwest. And there is a been concept called Clear FB Clock, which is turned into globally available free education app, advisor and client, which he will explain you in the later of the meeting. So to share is the innovative best practice he found in international development companies and designation into Clear FB advisor program. Tim also qualified as a life member of Mdrt with 9 TOT and 1 COT qualification. And more recently, he has launched his national-wide insurance organization called Clear FB Life to help advisor create cost of living adjustment of their clients by sharing his clear FD and COLA statistics is mess of retiring baby boomers. So known by some of the MDRT friends as he call us a spreadsheet. So that's his pet name. And he is the best selling author and renowned public speaker and MDRT TOT member. Revering is a fan of MDRT Foundation. That's very interesting. So we will discuss about MDRT Foundation. We'll listen from Tim about the thing. So that's thing. We will starting a webinar with officially. Uh, so this is the topic. And over to Tim. Tim, it's about you to take over now. I'm just exiting the share screen. You can just give your brief introduction on that. Yeah.
Sure. Thanks, Sakthi.
Yeah.
I appreciate the introduction, and I appreciate the opportunity to share. One of the things that I talk about all the time is our two limited resources are our minutes and our dollars, our time and our money. And as financial advisors, I think we're so careful with our usage of our clients' money. That's what we're always focused on, helping them out to maximize the return on investment of their money. And for me, I've always been focused on maximizing the return on investment of my clients' money, but also what's the ROI on my minutes? You know, when you guys are investing your minutes right now, spending 60 minutes of your lives, you don't get that back. I want to make sure that whatever I share with you adds value for you, that you look back and say, that was worth putting 60 minutes of my time into that. So I won't pull punches. I'll answer every question I can as thoroughly as I can. And if it's helpful for you, great. And if it's not, I'm sorry, but I'll do the best I can to give you information. The reason we titled it One Commitment at a Time is I would say the biggest reason why I've reached the success that I have is my belief in always do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. That's a motto I live by. And it's really important to underpromise and overdeliver and be very careful with what you make as promises, including promises you make to yourself. So when I say I'm going to do something by a certain time, I make sure I always follow through. And that's that commitment that I've made and then just following through with that that's ultimately led me in many ways to the success that I've received. So if you want to take one thing out of this entire hour, I would just say try to live by that lifestyle. Try to always do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. Just be very careful about the promises you make and keep the promises to yourself too. But I'm happy to answer other questions and let you guys know sort of how I got here. So Sakthi, I'll turn it to you as you want to move into some questions, or if you want some more background, I can do that too. It's up to you.
It's no problem. So we will go for 5 questions, and I just want to put it that every financial advisor, which is why just so keen on TOT. So everybody, the milestone like reaching the Mount Everest, so they feel that top of the table. It looks like when we started the career and insurance professional in that particular thing. Even I look forward in those particular things. So you are so expertise in reached 9 times on the TOT member. So what we want to do, these particular programs, how to reach the TOT is the main concern of the each members on this particular situation. So though our questions will be related to those things only, but looking forward to listen some more things. What are the steps you'll be being successful on that? So now we'll go for first 5 questions. Okay. Let's start the show. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. So question number 1. Do you want to show it up on the screen or?
Yeah, I'm just showing it on the screen.
Oh, you're doing that. Okay, got it. Got it. There we go.
So could be, you should excuse the first question is coming from me.
Oh. Okay.
So how you feel current situation as a financial advisor? This is the question for me. So I'm just taking the share screen. So now we can give you an answer on that.
Yeah. You know, I would love to tell you that I'm just optimistic and ecstatic all the time as a financial advisor. And that's true most of the time. Most of the time I feel great. I think we're in the greatest profession that you can be in. But there's tough times too. You know, when we're sitting down face to face with clients, we connect at a deep level with them. And if they're going through a hard time, if you really care about your clients, you know, you feel that pain in those moments too. And that's hard. And right now there's a lot of pain for a lot of people. I mean, the last few months have been really tough, and a lot of people turn to me in that time. And so I will say that I appreciate that they turn to me so that I can give them some reassurance, make them feel better. And certainly they're not worried. Well, many of my clients are not worried about their money because we have a good plan in place, which is great. But if you really have a deep relationship, they're going to talk to you about a lot of things going on in their lives. And that just makes it tough. But back to the optimistic side, as a financial advisor, I think you're in the greatest profession in the world. You truly, you have the ability to use what you know and the influence that you have to make a real difference in clients' lives. And our mission, I live it every day, which helps, it gets me excited every day, is we empower our clients and associates in their journey to achieve their unique vision of happiness. So we get to help people be happy. That's awesome. So how could I not enjoy doing that? That's a pretty cool thing.
Thank you. Thank you for the first questions you've been answered. And we're looking for the second question now.
Okay.
So we'll see second question from which country and which question. It's from Indonesia. So when you become a first MDRT member, what was your feeling?
So I've, as an MDRT member for the last decade, I've been in the business since 1997. And I started right out of college. And frankly, in the United States, I didn't even know financial planning was a career. I was going to be an attorney or something along those lines. I wanted to be a tax attorney. And I found financial planning by accident, realized I was born for this, and I love it. And sadly, I also found MDRT by accident because the company that I started with didn't introduce me to MDRT. So when I found out about MDRT and that I'd been qualifying for it for a little while, I was like, what is this thing? And a friend of mine said, you know, Tim, you've just got to go to one of these meetings. He had just gone, he had just paid for it. He says, you got to go to this meeting. He's like, I know I'm cautious with my usage of time. I shared that with you guys previously. So investing a week of my time to go to a meeting was a big deal. And so I was like, all right, I'll do this. I'm going to spend a week. I'll do that. I'll spend the money. I'll register. I'll join MDRT. And I went, and that was the best meeting I had ever been to in my life. And I made a commitment right there. Again, a commitment, a promise that I was going to keep. I was never going to miss another meeting. And so I've been to every annual meeting, every TOT meeting, every meeting that they have. I'm just like, I bleed MDRT for the last 10 years. So I was ignorant about it in the beginning. When you asked the question of how did I feel when I became MDRT, I felt amazing after I finally found MDRT. For many of you out there, I know it's a huge honor to reach MDRT, and you should appreciate that honor. I just wasn't aware of it.
So it was MDRT or TOT when you reached it the first time?
I was actually at TOT levels of production by the time I joined MDRT. So I'd actually already gotten myself up to certain levels. I'd been in the business for 13 years. So when I started in 97, in about 99, I probably started producing at MDRT level production. And I was at top of the table level production by 2001, 2002, and pretty much stayed there thereafter. Frankly, the reason I have COT qualification is because I didn't know to join the TOT group in my first year. I joined MDRT and I didn't join the TOT part. So by default, that made you a COT based on my production level. So I've been like a duck to water. I've been just really born to do this for a living. And I'm really happy to share, you know, what comes naturally for me and is more challenging for others. I'm happy to share how to do it.
Thank you. So we'll go for the third question. And I'm sharing the screen. Okay. Oh, again, it's from Indonesia, from Muftia. What's your biggest and why you are to be a TOT member?
Yeah. So my biggest, why am I a TOT? What's the biggest why behind how I got here? I guess is the way I'm going to interpret that question. How did I become a TOT member and reach that level of production? Since I imagine many of you were looking to do the same thing. And the key for me, absolute key, was always focusing on what my client needed. It's simple as that. Like every single client, it's always about them. It's always about what can I do to help you? And when you truly care about the client in front of you and you're doing everything you can to help them, they naturally want to introduce you to other people they care about. Before you know it, your business is just growing so big that you've got so many clients that want your help. You're just being pulled in a million directions. And then that's when you have to hire people. You've got to find somebody to help you because you can't do it all. So that's the key to the next level of success. You cannot get to TOT, I believe, alone without working really, 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 really long hours, really hard, or doing something unique. You know, you need to use other people somehow. And if you can't figure out how to partner with other people, whether it's as employees or other advisors or things, then you're never going to get past that first level to the next level.
So one thing on this particular team, these resources, what are the ways we can able to utilize it? We will utilize it for sales or in operations, or which way it will be more successful on that, on the support staff?
On the with resources,
Yes,
what resources do we use?
support staffs. Or you have the manpower who's will help you.
Support
Yeah,
staff.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, well, for support staff, we had the very first person that I hired was somebody who was going to help me take care of preparing for all of my clients and my client meetings and processing business. You know, I don't know what it's like for you guys, but you know, when I write an application, that's just the beginning.
Yeah.
Then you got to follow up and collect all this stuff and then, you know, make other people do their jobs. So it's like, so that they actually get it done in time. And then by the time you finally get it approved and you're back and you're ready to go, you got to re-explain to your client what they were decided to do in the first place, you know, forever ago. And so staying in touch with your client and then managing all those other people throughout that process, that can be very time consuming. So if you can find somebody that can manage the processing of your business, that's one of the biggest things to take off your plate, because that's pretty easy to hire people to help you do that, so that you can then focus on just seeing clients, writing the apps, and you know, helping get them set up, and then seeing them for delivery and review. If you can limit your time to that, you know, and have the rest of it be taken care of by somebody else, that's huge. But yeah, that'd be some of the first steps, I would say. Does that help answer the question, Sakti?
Yes. Yes. Thank you. We will move to fourth question now. So, okay, it's from India, Morgan. If a new financial advisor starts his career, current situation, what could be your advice?
Got it. Well, Mr. Mohan, if you're listening to this and you've heard the beginning of this, you're probably going to anticipate the answer I'm about to share with you. So the most important thing I believe that you can do when you're first starting in this business is manage your time effectively. It's all about time management and your usage of time. There were 4 things that I was told to focus on when I first got in the business in 1997. And to this day, I still track those 4 things on a regular basis because they just make sense. How many appointments did you set each week? How many appointments did you keep each week? How many referrals did you get? And how many pieces of business did you write? If you just focus on those 4 key performance indicators, KPIs, those 4 metrics, and continue to improve them, you will be much more successful. At a minimum, what I was told is if you set 10 to 12 appointments a week with new people, you'll keep 6 to 8. You'll usually write 3 to 4 pieces of business. And if you're asking for referrals every time, you usually get 10 to 15 referrals, which makes it easier to set the next 10 to 12 appointments the next week. So I would just focus on the basics if you're just getting started in that. Once you get up to MDRT qualification and you've hit MDRT level, then you can start to branch out to some of the other more complex things. But time management is the most important thing to get you to the first level of MDRT.
Thank you. We'll go to the 5th question now. So, it's from Hong Kong, Jim from Hong Kong. I would like to ask how to achieve from MDRT to COT and TOT, and what should I do if I have some connection with high network prospects in my business associates?
Yeah. So getting to the next, I think each time there's different levels that you want to get to in your business. So to get to MDRT, I think time management's critical. To go from MDRT to COT level production, you still have to keep all the stuff you learned about time management, keep doing that, but you got to add new things on top of it. And I think that's where you start to be even more militant about your usage of time. You want to delegate away the things that are lower point activities by hiring somebody to help you. And that leverages your time. If you work 40 to 80 hours a week, however many hours you work, but now that there's 2 of you because you've hired somebody, you just doubled the amount of time that you have. That's a huge resource for you. And if you're doing anything that you could pay somebody else less per hour than you earn to do, then you should do that. So that'll help you get to those next levels. to figure out how much you make per hour, because this is, for many of us, this is a sales-based or commission-based, kind of a industry. So you maybe don't know. You might feel like I worked all week or all day and didn't make anything if you didn't, have a deal happen or anything like that. All you have to do is look at it. Once you've completed a year, look at how much money you made that previous year. Then look at how many hours per week you work on average and just divide it. It's not that complicated. If you've assumed this is how much money I made this last year, and how many weeks do you take off each year? So subtract those from the 52 weeks, whatever's left, take the number of hours you work, divide it by the revenue you made. That's your hourly rate. And if you're doing anything with your hours going forward that earns you less than that, that's not a good use of your time. You should focus on doing things that are earning you that hourly rate and hire people at lower rates than you make per hour to do the other things that you shouldn't be doing anymore. That'll take you to the next level, and you can keep using that indefinitely to climb the ladder. What should you do if you have some high net worth prospects as it related to that? And if you're capable of handling those relationships, wonderful. Don't be afraid to talk to them. Everybody's human. Everybody goes through the same experience. So don't hesitate to have conversations with these people and get to know them and connect with them at a deeper emotional level. So it's about, spend time with them if you can. That's going to be huge. And then don't be afraid to seek help. If you can find somebody who's got some more experience that is able to work with that kind of stuff and you're not able to do it yet, don't wait until you're able to do it in years. That prospect's going to be working with somebody else by then. Find somebody who is capable, bring them to the table, and figure out how you can divide the pie and work together. 100% of zero is zero. Be better to take a smaller percentage of something than a bigger percentage of nothing.
Thanks, Tim. We have come out of the first section, end of the first section.
Sure.
I think you've been the great answers, and I think the questions also very nice from all over the world. I think. So now we will have one thing as a TOT member. It's not related to the professional. I'm just asking it up. So tell me, how important the family if you want to be more successful in your life?
How important is family if you want to be more successful in your life?
Yeah.
I think it's everything. My kids are grown now. They're off in college, and my fiance Crystal is my office manager. So we work together, we live together, our lives are together all the time. So work is family for me. My team, my clients are all family for me. I would say it's really important to have that work-life balance. And MDRT talks about the whole person concept. So I would say it's very important. Everybody makes their own family, though. You're born with one family, but you also create your own. And whether that's explicitly the people that are right next to you, or whether it's an extended family of the connections that you have, that's your responsibility to create and maintain those relationships. And the better you are at it, I think the more enjoyable your life will be from a holistic standpoint, and the more successful you'll likely be.
So about the weekends, do you spend time with your family to forget about the business, and or how this works for this actually?
Yeah. So it's pretty. I try to keep work pretty tight to 8:30 to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and at 5 o'clock, we're Crystal and I are enjoying dinner or watching some shows, binge watching things on Netflix or any of the other TV series things that are going on. As I was telling ISAKTHI before we started this session tonight, I'm a story collector. So I love collecting stories. So movies, books, video games, TV shows, anything that tells me a good story. So Crystal and I will spend time doing that. My son Marshall's home for the summer from college, so it's nice to see him. We're supposed to go out and do something tomorrow. We'll see what happens as far as all this COVID quarantine, everything else stuff, as far as what the plans are. But I'm sure we'll spend some time together. And and card games and all that stuff's fun too. So it's important to be able to unplug. You got to switch hats.
So I just seen a smile say that as much you love your family, the family loves you, and that's the key of the success in your professional. So all the best, and look forward to go next 5 questions. We will just move forward. Question number 6, we'll move forward. Yeah.
Sure.
Again, this question from Batmapriya. Every year achieving TOT, what kind of support you are getting and what are the best practice you're using to reach TOT?
Yeah, so the support from my staff is critical. Without them taking care of those lower value activities, I couldn't be producing at this level. But the other thing that's big, and I don't know if this applies to everyone out there, you really have to look at your industry and your country and determine if this fits for you or not. Um, Early on in my career, I decided to make sure that I was going to pursue investment strategies with my clients that would pay residual income. So it was all about accumulating assets under management so that I could earn 1% of the assets under management per year. Once you had a certain amount of money under management, all you have to do then is just keep your clients happy, and you're making enough money every year. Every year I wake up January 1st and know that I'm already going to qualify for TOT because I have enough revenue coming in from my existing client base that is going to reach those levels. So residual income is huge. And sometimes you have to sacrifice the upfront compensation in the early years in order to build the permanent long-term compensation over the long run. But that's, if you have that opportunity wherever you're at in your product mix and in your country, look for the opportunities to build residual income.
Yeah, it's good. We'll move to the next question now. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love this question. That what is your investment philosophy? That so you can offer to your clients and other things. So
Yeah. Um, so I think that everything comes back to the four values in our business: education, choice, transparency, and empathy. So I teach my clients education so they can make an informed choice about what to do with their money. It's their money, it's their right to do whatever they want with it. I'm transparent about the pros and the cons, the costs and the benefits, the things I can control, the things I can't control. And then I'm empathetic when they ask me for my advice. I will give them recommendations I think are best for them at a human level, not just what some software output tells me is best for them. So I think my investment philosophy is really to teach the clients what their best options are and allow them to choose from those choices. That being said, when my clients ask me for my advice from that empathy standpoint, most of the time I'm a buy and hold kind of guy. I'm time in the market, not timing the market. So it's about, let's, take risk if you've got time, and if you don't have time, don't take so much risk. And if there's ways to shift the risk to some insurance companies, let's do that. And I do that all the time with life insurance and annuity products. There's no need for your clients to assume more risk than they need. You're there to protect them as well.
so what was your maximum selling product? Will it be investments or in pure risk?
In the United States, we have annuity products which function like investments as well as they have insurance benefits. So we can actually have money that goes into a client's investment portfolio and have a guarantee, worst case scenario, even if the stock market tanks and everything does horrible, they'll have a minimum income stream like a pension for the rest of their life based on the high numbers. And that's extremely valuable. So we've done a lot of work with annuities over the years. And then I would say second to that would be life insurance. We do a lot of advanced, cool life insurance things. Life insurance has unique tax benefits. In the United States, it's, the death benefits are tax-free. The ability to actually borrow against them in a tax-free way, it can be very big as well. So those are two of the big products, and we do a few more as well.
Okay, we'll move to the next question now. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Again, the question from India, Rajesh. What kind of products are you offering to your clients in MDRT man? Want to reach to TOT? What kind of product he has supposed suggest to the client?
Yeah. I have known so many MDRT members that have done it with so many different products around the world. And that answer is unique to your country and your employer, whether you're self-employed or you're an employee. So you really have to answer that for yourself if you're looking for that answer. If you're asking me about my answer, I own my own company. I'm self-employed. I own Clear Financial Partners, so I can sell any product I want. I'm licensed in the U.S. to sell whatever I want. I've learned most of my clients, if you're a certified financial planner, if you're a CFP, The CFP Board of Standards has 5 tenets of financial planning. I review those 5 tenets with my clients in every appointment, and I will make sure that they know what I'm doing and what I don't do. So I do rate of return. That's the first one. I'm going to focus on that, maximizing their rate of return and all their stuff. So that's going to include mutual funds, annuities, other things like that. Second is retirement income planning. I'm going to help them make sure they have adequate income for themselves in retirement, and that they are, if they have to make some changes or adjust or pivot, they're going to do that with me. The third and fourth tenets, I don't handle. Now you might, but I don't. Estate planning, I'm not an attorney. I don't do their legal work. So I'm not writing those documents. I'm working with their attorney to make sure that they're doing a good job, but we defer to the attorney on the legal side. Tax planning, I'm not their accountant. I don't do their tax returns for them. I factor them into all the investment strategies, but we'll work together with their accountant. And then the fifth is protection planning, which breaks into 3 subcategories. The first 2 I don't do, the last one I do. So the first 2 are health insurance, which I don't do. You might, again. I work with their people that do that. Auto and home insurance, I don't do that. I don't protect their auto and home, so we work together with those people as well. And then this last category I do handle is life insurance, long-term care insurance, and long-term disability insurance. So income protection and death benefit and long-term care from a needs-based standpoint, we handle that stuff. So by using these 5 tenets with our clients, we're able to carve out my areas so they're not going to find competitors that do that. I'm the guy for that. And then everything else, I'm totally open to working with whoever they've got, or we've got people if they need them. And that's, so any products that fit into the areas of the stuff I decided I'll do, that's the stuff I work with.
Any age specification, or you maintain it for category of clients, so we will tag it up. So any age-oriented clients.
Yeah, my ideal client is 57 to 65 years old, typically a married couple between 57 and 65. The truth is I've got clients of every age range, every gender, every demographic you can imagine, because we will serve people. I mean, if they're good people, I want to make sure they're well taken care of, and our firm will help them to try to do that. But the fact is, my target demographic, the majority of my clients start working with us between 57 and 65. Sometimes they're single, often they're married, and we'll serve them through the rest of their lives as they transition into their retirement years and pass their wealth on eventually.
Thank you. We'll go to the last question before the halfway mark. So this is our 10th question. Okay, the 2 more questions is there. Okay. Okay, again, it's from India. Are you using any specific software or online marketing? Could you suggest for other members?
Yeah, so I don't know if some of the stuff that I use works globally or not, but I will tell you what I use, and then you can look it up and see if it works or not for you, or see if there's somebody else that does something similar in where you're at. I use a dictation software constantly. So I've been with CopyTalk and Mobile Assistant in the past. Those are 2 providers that offer it in the United States. I'm currently with CopyTalk, and after every meeting that I have with a client, every phone call I have with a client, I pick up my phone, I hit a speed dial number, and I dictate everything that I just wanted done about that client meeting. And that gets cut and pasted and sent to my CRM, my client relationship management. And then my team looks at that and they do everything that has to happen for my dictation. So that saves me so much time and keeps me extremely compliant, because I don't forget anything after the client meeting if I do it right away when I just finished the meeting. So a dictation service that captures that is huge. Then as far as financial planning software, because I feel like that was what was implied there, I used to do this amazing financial planning software that would do all kinds of stuff. It would create this website for your clients, and they would aggregate all their accounts into one place, and they could look at it, and then they would do these graphs and charts and projections and all this cool stuff. And one year, I asked myself a question every year at the beginning of the year. The question I ask is, what more can I do for my clients this year? Because it's an at-will relationship. What more are you going to do every year? What are you going to bring this year to your clients to make them want to stay with you? And that year I asked, what more can I do this year? And I realized we've been spending thousands of dollars and countless hours on that amazing financial planning software. And none of my clients cared. My clients didn't care about that. They never were logging in. They weren't looking at the graphs. I never got a question from a client that the software answered. My clients never called me and said, Tim, what happens if you stress test my portfolio against a bear market for the next 2 years? Never had a client ask that. Can you run a dozen Monte Carlo simulations for me and send those over to me? Clients don't call and ask that question. Clients would call me and say, Tim, I need a few $1,000s out of an account in a few weeks. I don't know which account we'll take it from. I don't really care. Just, can you get it to me? And well, which account is it going to come from? I just feel like I should ask. That's more like the kind of question that I get from a client. So I thought, you know what? What if I could just find a way to answer that question? And so I thought, let me show them at least what's going on in my head when I look at their case, what I think they should touch first, second, third, and fourth. And by going around in a clockwise fashion, so actually first, second, third, and fourth, the way you're looking on the screen, this presentation evolved that I call our clock presentation. And it was such a great presentation. The clients would jump up and say, I want to take a picture of that. That's awesome. They had better clarity. And I didn't want to do that with just my clients because I'm like, I can only impact so many lives here in the Portland, Vancouver area. So that's why I built the Clear Advisor program and my app that's free that you can download. It's Clear FP The Clock. You can download it anywhere. There's no expenses. There's no tricks. There's no anything. You can create your own clock and you can see exactly how I teach the first, second, third, and fourth money that people should touch. And that's been huge. So we've been using that for the last 9 years. So I don't have any financial planning software because that clock presentation, you can do it on a whiteboard. You can do it on a piece of paper with a pen. You don't need to do financial planning software stuff for most clients. They just want to get it. So you got to figure out how you can make them get it. Keep it simple.
It's a great answer, what you're just saying. Normally, there is a mindset and of all members have somebody who has been so successful on TOT used to some kind of softwares and that. When today you're saying it does not record, it's something new and I think it reached everybody. The human brains work more faster than any other software, I believe it or that actually. So one question in this particular things, which is do you use any online marketing kind of things on this particular thing?
So one of my full-time hires does a great job is my marketing person. And their job is to keep up my social media platforms and all this stuff. I mean, just this last year, so this is all since just 2019. I started with radio stuff and TV stuff and, I'm writing articles for all these different magazines. Forbes had me in them recently, which was cool. So, it's neat to do all of that and get that out there. I couldn't do it without the help of a full-time staff member that was doing those things for me. I do subscribe to a software or a marketing firm that provides us newsletters on a weekly basis. And we email those out they email those for us out to all of our clients. And then we actually get a printed newsletter every month that I physically mail to my top clients along with a cover letter that I write every month. And that goes to them. It also goes to my qualified prospects. So you don't just mail it out to everybody, but you mail it to your best clients and your qualified prospects. And them still getting something physical in the mail that's actually fun and good to read, it goes a long way. They hang on to it. They appreciate it. And that same company provides that weekly newsletter as well as that monthly newsletter, as well as a quarterly newsletter. And obviously it's unique to the United States content-wise. They're writing the articles, but I'm sure there's various companies that do something similar in your country. So it's all about touching your clients on a regular basis. If you can automate a weekly email with very little of your time invested, that's 52 touches a year. They see your face on this little thing every single week, and it's easy for them to email you back. So if they've got a random question, you're top of mind, and they're like, oh yeah, I've been meaning this here. And they send you an email back and you can be replying to them. So you're constantly fishing digitally just by at least doing a weekly email newsletter. I think that's a standard table stakes thing now. If you're not doing that, you probably need to get that done sometime soon.
Thank you. We'll go move to the 10th question now. Yeah. Okay, it's from Anand Jain, India. How to overcome objection in your experience? How to generate more referral?
Sure. I love how every one of these questions is really like 2 questions. So overcoming objections and generating more referrals. Okay. 2 quick answers for you this is not complicated. Objections are not objections. They're questions. You have to remember that. Objections are not objections. They're questions. Don't take offense. Don't take it personally. Don't worry that you're going to lose the deal because they've got an objection. just try to understand what's going on. And sometimes it's not a real question. Sometimes there's an underlying issue and it's not really what they said, it's something else. And be real with them. Sit with them and say, hey, I get it. No, let's talk about that. Go behind it. Because if you don't go behind their question and really understand where they're coming from, then how can you really help them? If you're there to help them, they'll feel that. And you won't get objections that feel like objections. You'll get objections that are really just questions they need to get answered. And then it just happens. You just answer those questions. How do you get more referrals? Ask. It's as simple as that. There's been polls done. 80% of people will give you referrals. 20% won't. They'll say no. But that 20% stops you from asking. When you hear no, you're like, oh, I don't want to ask anymore. I don't like to hear a no. It's like, but the 80% we're going to give them to you. If you don't ask, only 20% will give you referrals without asking for them. So you'll quadruple your referrals just by asking. If you stop asking, you'll still get some referrals. About 1/4 as many referrals as you would have got if you just asked every time.
So ask. That's the one way you have to go for, right? So we come off the halfway mark with the 10 questions. So a little bit break you can take. So now I just want to put one basically. As you've been a story collector and you just do a lot of things, do you recommend any specific books to all the members?
Well, yeah, if you're, but for what purpose, right? So there's a lot of books for business purposes and for these things and for those things. I would tell you, if you're an MDRT member, we've just launched this new MDRT book club concept. So if you really like books, you should look into it. They're just starting them out, and it's pretty great. I've been a member of a book club now for the last few years with it, and I just launched one with some of the other MDRT members. But it's a great way to just make a commitment and say, let's pick a book and let's check it all out. And then we come back and you have a little 1-hour Zoom meeting with the other members and talk about what you all got out of the book. It forces you to read more books that are helpful to you in life and business and everything else. So I've read a lot of books, particularly recently. But if you were asking me about the story collecting stuff, I mean, I like the classics, I mean, it's, we're going The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings and all those fantasy things I read when I was a kid. Those were fun. I used to read some Stephen King and Dean Koontz and John Saul for all the good times I wanted to feel a little bit scared and think a little outside the box. But from a work-related standpoint, trying to think about what's internationally applicable. Well, I've written 2 books. The first book I wrote is Passionate Ambivalence, How to Sell with Authenticity and Integrity. It's a sales book, and it's I just did the audio recording for Audible 2 weeks ago, and I think that's timeless and universal. Everything about that could be used anywhere in the world. So not to say you need to go buy my book, that's not the point, but I wrote it because I wanted to create common sense amongst a lot of people. There's no such thing as common sense. That's one of the things I discovered. There isn't. There's what you think is common sense, and then you hire people as soon as you start working with people and you think this is common sense. It's not. They all have their own definition of common sense. So I was like, well, I need to create a level playing field for what common sense is. And that's why I wrote that book. I was like, you need to read this. You're my new hire. Finish the book. If you disagree with any of this stuff, it's probably not going to work out. If you agree with this, that's great. We're going to work together, and that's okay. But it was a great way to set the bar for a common sense of what common sense was in our firm. And that's why I wrote that first book. There's another good book out there that I would share with you, The Alchemist, which is fun. That's a fun, quick read. It's got a lot of great little quotable insights in it. So it looks like a question. The clock presentation is called as ? If you search on your phone, you would see Clear FP, CLEAR, Clear, F as in Frank, P as in Peter. Clear FP at The Clock. So if you search Clear FP The Clock in your app store, you'll be able to see it and you can download it and check it out. So hopefully you don't have any trouble. If you do, you can always send me an email and I'll send you a link or something. Yeah.
So those questions will be answering end of the program then just we can be completed that.
Sure.
This is something about your fun and that. What kind of entertainment do you like it? Just keep me motivated, you energetic.
What do I do for energy to keep me motivated?
Yeah. What kind of entertainment? What are entertainment you do? Yeah.
Actually, as I was sharing earlier, every morning I play the guitar after working out. So I work out for an hour and then I play the guitar to relax. And I love just playing the guitar and singing and having a good time with that. So that's fun. Movies, I love movies. I worked at a movie theater when I was a teenager. And it was one of the greatest perk of working in a movie theater is you could see every movie that was playing there. And for a couple of years, I don't think I missed a single movie that came out in the movie theaters. So I've always enjoyed that. I'm excited. My son is going into becoming a movie director. He's at college right now for that.
Wow.
So I hope
Wow.
to see him succeed in that. That'll be fun.
So hope to see you and he's direct some movies and we will watch it at that.
That'd be
So
great.
let's we'll move forward to the 11th questions to 15th question now. Let's
Okay.
go for Let's see which country will ask the question now. Let's see about 11th question. It's from Cyprus. When a client unhappy about advisor service or insurance companies performance or claims that what kind of solutions we can offer the client. So the totally the different kind of unhappy. What is this answer for?
Yeah, that comes back to that third value I mentioned, transparency. Every client has expectations of you. Some are explicit, you've discussed them, you know what they are, and some are implicit. They have their own belief set of what you should and shouldn't do, what your company should and shouldn't be able to do. And the more you can take things that are implicit that they thought was true and get explicit about it, talk about it and get it up beforehand. So you can be like, no, this is the way it really is. You can set expectations for your clients because the only way you lose a client is a negative surprise. And the only way you have a negative surprise is when a client had an expectation that wasn't met. So if you get those expectations clear up front and you're transparent about it all, you're not going to have any negative surprises. They should know, look, I can't control the insurance company. We've shopped it. We've tried to find the best insurance company. That's what we're going to do. Or this is the great company and here's what we know about them. So if they're not happy with the insurance company, you've said that up front. There's what you can and can't do. And hopefully you can look at another insurance company if they're not happy with one. You want to get on their side of the table. And same thing with the investments. You can't control the stock market, the economy. I mean, nobody on this call created this COVID thing. So, we all just got to roll with it. So clients need to be realistic with that too.
If the client is unhappy about the service of the insurance advisor, what he has to change himself on? So, are you to do a lot of listening, or you have to change the way you work, or you just fear of failures? What the way he has to look forward?
ISAKTHI, I'm sorry, I'm trying to follow the question. So,
if the advisor, based on his service, he could not make it up as an Mdrt or something like that. So will he has to change his behavior on the way he look forward for the successful? So that's a question again. That.
So so he would have to change his behavior to look forward to I think everybody has to adjust their behavior to your perspective is everything. So, just what you are articulating in that, the way you look at things is going to change everything. Okay. The way you look at things is going to change everything. So help your clients look at the things the same way as well.
Okay, we'll move to the next question now. Yeah.
Sure.
It's from Thailand. For number 10. So as a tutor, advisor and company CEO, how do you find daily routine? What kind of activity you do daily, and did you give your time to your family? So you already answered the question, I believe it. So
I've got my daily routine that I go through every single day. So work out for an hour, guitar for a half hour, head into the office, do my routine at the office, use your team effectively, be productive with your minutes, and you'll be able to do a lot more than you ever thought you could do.
Okay, we'll move to the next question now.
Sure.
Yeah, Sangeeta, what kind of habits will you suggest to a successful advisor, to be a successful advisor?
Under promise and over deliver. Always do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. Those are two critical habits. There's a book. Oh, should have mentioned this when you asked me about the books earlier, ISAKTHI. There is a book that I actually teach in my Clear Advisor program to my advisors all the time, and it's a really good book. If you've read it, great. If you haven't read it, it's worth reading. It's called The 4 Agreements, And it talks about these 4 agreements that you can make with yourself. So if you're looking to try to improve your life, at least for me, I think it's pretty powerful. The 4 agreements are be impeccable with your word, don't take anything personally, never make assumptions, and always do your best. And as simple as those 4 things may seem, they're not always easy to really grasp the significance of them. So reading the book is a good way to remind yourself of that, and then living those 4 agreements is something we try to do at our firm on a daily basis. It's actually part of our clear commitment that we all work on together.
So that's a habit we need to follow it up.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go to the next question now. So I think John is already there in the line. So in this difficult situation, how to generate prospect and how to get new clients, and Jobin also asked the same question, I think, from India. So both of them from MCZ and the senior members. Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully you've figured out how to communicate effectively with your clients in this environment, whether it's over the phone or whether it's over the computer in these kinds of Zoom meetings. You've got to connect with them. Everybody's been scared in the last few months. So the first thing is, if you haven't been reaching out to your clients, I would reach out to your clients. And you don't have to be afraid or talk about even the financial planning stuff. Just ask them how they're doing. Be human and connect with your existing client base. Just dialing through them. You don't have to do anything in that first call. If you call them once and then a few weeks from now, you call them again, say, hey, by the way, I just wanted to check in, see how things have gone. Mention something you remember from the conversation that you just had and say, by the way, we're definitely looking for more clients. Is there anybody that you know that would like to receive the same values as what you've experienced working with us? And see if they have somebody. Would you mind introducing them to us? And send them an email, see if you can get an email introduction. So it's not intent. You're not asking them how they're doing because you're trying to manipulate them. I don't want you to do that. That's not my point. You should genuinely be asking them how they're doing because you care about them. They're your clients. But they also care about you. And if there's more people you can help and they know them, you're not going to meet those people if they don't tell you. So don't be afraid to say, hey, listen, no pressure. However you ask for referrals, that's up to you. But you just got to let them know. I can't help people I don't know. And people I don't know. And I'd like to help them. So if there's anything that you think I can do for other people that please don't hesitate to introduce me, and I'll make you look good. So that's how I would recommend pursuing more, just referrals. Referrals with the people that you know. Let people know. Let everybody know that you care about others and you want to help them.
Okay. We'll move to the next question now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this question from China. Proceed. How was your experience attending Mdrt annual meeting every year and doing voluntary work? I think it's something I believe this is a very key questions what we ask you about a PGA member. And little bit you talk about even Mdrt Foundation also.
Just like anything in life, everything has layers. Everything has opportunities. And if you don't explore those layers, you're missing out and you don't even know what you're missing out on. By volunteering at Mdrt at all the meetings, I've been able to get to know so many more people at a deeper level. And it's like a family within a family. You're already within a family at Mdrt. But when you volunteer, you become part of another family. And you look forward to seeing these same people and staying in touch throughout the year and how are they doing in their lives and their meetings, and you create that regularity. So it's truly wonderful. Every time Mdrt asks me, Tim, can you do this? Tim, can you do this? Tim, I'm yes every time. And so I do a lot of volunteering for Mdrt in lots of different capacities. And I don't do it to get more than I give, but I always get more than I give. I love the relationship with everybody that I get to meet through Mdrt, and volunteering just takes it to a whole new level. I don't know that I would have met ISAKTHI if I didn't volunteer at PGA. I'm sure that's how we connected. So it's, your whole world will change if you volunteer.
Yeah. So how was your experience attending the annual meeting regularly? So was you like it That's what the questions with that members.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I like some of the things better than others. But I love all the volunteering, truly. It's great. And I like being with the committee and with the other people that are there. It's hard sometimes to ask people that are sitting in the wrong seat that shouldn't be in that seat, and they know they shouldn't be in the right seat, and they got to get out because they need to go to some other seat. We're trying to protect the experience for everybody else. So sometimes it's tough to have to do some of those things, but somebody's got to do it, and it just makes the meeting better for everybody. So not everything is fun, but the benefits outweigh the cons every time.
So we end up 15 questions now. So other last 5 questions to go ahead. Now it's time to be asking. So what was your biggest dream on your professional career? Did you achieve it, or is still the way to go ahead on your dream?
I think it's important to continually dream new dreams and keep going after those dreams. So you should never be done dreaming. But my biggest dream when I was 13 years old and I was reading all those books I was just talking about, all the Tolkien, all that stuff, I wanted to write books. I wanted to write these fantasy novels. And I thought I didn't want to be a writer writing these fantasy novels and starving. I wanted to have a career where I could make enough money and do okay. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and become successful in business, and then I can retire early and write books and not worry about whether they ever get published. And I reached that point about 5 years ago. I could have retired and be done. I'm 44 years old. I could have retired in my late 30s and written books and not worry about whether they ever got published. And I realized I love this just as much as I love writing. So I'm still doing this because this is so much fun. I have new dreams that I'm achieving here, but I am working on that fantasy novel. So I've written 2 nonfiction books, but my next one will be my fantasy book. So I'll have achieved that childhood dream when I write that book. I did become an author, but I haven't written my first fiction yet. So yeah.
The one more thing, commonly people talk about MDRT, COT, TOT, the bigger way. Did money important in life?
I think a certain level of money is very important in life. Money is important to everybody, and everybody has to figure out what their own level is. If you're still struggling to make ends meet, food, shelter, clothing for you and your loved ones, money's very important. You're trying to figure out how to take care of the basic survival things. Once you get past that and you're trying to create a life of joy that gives you all the things that you want, that it's beyond needs, now it's to wants. It's giving you the things that you want. You can hit a point where you're like, I'm making enough. I have all the things that I want. I'd rather continue to make other things different in the world. And you seek impact. You start trying to figure out how can I give my money and use my money in more efficient ways to make a difference in the world and shape the world the way I want. That's where the foundation is so powerful. The MDRT Foundation is a great thing to get involved with, to learn how your time and your money and other people's money can truly change the world beyond what you could do on your own. But some people haven't satisfied all their wants. Some people want more. And so money's going to continue to be important to them before they're ready to say, I have enough that I'm ready to start giving. I'm grateful enough. I'm grateful that I have enough that I'm able to give because I have all the things that I want and all the things that I need.
Thank you so much. I keep following you on the MDRT Foundation. What you're doing for MDRT Foundation is a wonderful work on that. You are a true inspiration for everybody who's been following that in the foundation.
Thanks,
So,
ISAKTHI.
which is move forward for last 5 questions. Then we will take online questions, which is members can ask you that. Okay. So now we move to the 16th question now. Yeah. Yeah, it's a Jang from India. My question to Mr. TOT. My question is what the simple formula to reach the top, and how do you maintain it, and how do you maintain it over the big cases converted into yes?
Yeah. So the residual income is big because building residual income makes you automatically maintain it and get to that level, which is great. But how do you convert some of those big prospects into a yes? Keep sharpening the saw. Keep learning. You're never done learning. You've got to keep learning. I'll never stop learning. And if you, and don't forget what you already know. Keep the stuff you learn and learn new stuff that matters, that you're going to use in your life on a regular basis so that you retain it. If you're studying something you're never going to use, you're going to forget it in a few years. And it might be a fun memory, but study the stuff that you're actually going to use right away and you'll retain it. And then your skills get to this level where nobody else has that ability. People earn more money because they're willing to do what other people won't do, or capable of doing what other people can't do, or both. Improve your capability. Get better at being able to do more things that other people can't do. And pretty soon there's not that many people that can do what you can do. And that makes a lot of those high net worth people have to work with you whether they like it or not. More than likely they'll like it.
So these, you recently gone through a virtual meeting or MDRT. We are going to happening on August. Are you completed, Tim?
Yeah, they recorded the, so the clock that I was talking about previously, MDRT had me interviewed in Chicago for the clock that's available on the MDRT resource zone. I think it's like about 20 minutes. I talk about the clock and how I use it. And then there's a breakout session in August where I'm teaching you exactly how to do that clock presentation. So if you're going to do the MDRT virtual meeting in August, watch for that breakout session. And I actually use a whiteboard and I show exactly how to do it. If you follow along with a pen and paper while you go through that breakout session in about 45 minutes, you'll be able to do the clock presentation with, you know, all of your clients from that point forward.
How was this experience? Normally, this connection zone or focus sections you do with the front of the huge audience. We do this program. How this virtual one? Do you like it, or is this a future of the world?
No, I don't like it. I miss seeing people. I miss being face to face. I wish all of you were sitting in front of me so I could have this conversation live. You know, I mean, it's fine. I can do the virtual thing, and I appreciate that it exists. You know, without it, we'd be all on the phone together. I mean, you know, without that, we wouldn't even know each other. If you know that the technology is amazing, so I appreciate it for that. But it doesn't replace that human interaction. I certainly prefer seeing each other live. Though with this, we can replicate it and share it with more people. So I got to give credit to that. You know, I'll impact more people over an extended period of time just by sharing this recorded video than I'll ever be able to impact face to face in a large room. So
I, I really appreciate for the MDRT efforts that they are not given up for the meeting, although they not connected the meeting of NIM and Dubai, but still they're bringing something new. Even the all members can learn and they want to support you on the virtually one. So I request all the members should register for that, get benefit out of that. That's my request for that. Okay. Looking forward. We'll go to the next question now. Yeah. Yeah, so Maria is already, she is on the live only. So this question was, how many times have you been about to give up? And how do you find strength to keep going on?
Yeah, so I want to make this impactful for you because I get it. I haven't been about to give up in a long time. And I'm going to tell you why. And the why goes back to a childhood story. This is something that I discovered when I was about, I think I was in the 5th grade. So I was about 10 years old. So I was 10 years old. It was a Thursday night. In the United States, we have school Monday through Friday. Friday morning, I was supposed to have a really big test. And I cared a lot about my grades. I wanted to get straight A's, best grades I could get. And I was worried about this test Thursday night. I'm like, I think I might fail this test tomorrow. I might get a C. Like that was going to be really bad for me. I was going to feel really guilty. Like, and then I thought, well, wait a minute. Like that's the worst case scenario. No, the worst case scenario is I could get an F. Like that'd be really, really bad. And then I had this realization. I was like, wait a minute. The worst case scenario is a meteor could come from out of the sky, blow up the school, and I could die. That's the worst thing that could happen is I could die tomorrow at this test. And I was like, you know what? Eventually we all pass away. Eventually we all die anyway. So we're going to have to face that fear one way or another at the end of our lives anyway. And I believe that I can't control when it's going to happen. It's going to happen whenever it's going to happen, whenever it's supposed to happen. And realizing that, well, the worst thing that could happen is I could die, that kind of makes everything else pale in comparison. So as long as you don't die, go for it. It's just, you know, and that makes it so that fear just went away from me. So I've never really been worried of failing, because what's failing? Failing is just you didn't get what you thought you were going to get, which happens in life all the time. And then the next thing will happen, and the next thing will happen. You'll just keep going. At least you didn't die. If you haven't died yet, you still got a shot. So that's what I would say to that.
Tim, could you share any emotional moment on your last 10 years journey with your clients, so which you can able to share it us actually?
Yeah, the one immediately came to mind when you asked me that. So I don't know if you guys have some kind of critical illness, I'm sure, long-term care insurance type stuff. So I took care of a client for about the last 20 years. So started working with them early in my career, and husband and wife, great couple, lined up everything great for them for their retirement. In their mid 50s, I wrote long-term care insurance on them, just in case, you know, and it was good. It was really good policies, you know, and in their early 60s, the wife developed Alzheimer's in her early 60s. And she's been in a nursing home for the last 4 years. The first 2 years, you know, they dealt with things there. So for the last 6 years, I've been helping this husband, whose wife doesn't remember him anymore, go through this process of this experience. And I'm grateful that money is not a problem for them because of the insurance that we wrote to protect that. But there's a lot of other emotional stuff that you got to deal with when you really care. If you care about your clients, you're gonna feel pain when they're feeling pain, but you'll also feel joy when they're feeling joy, and that's just part of the ride.
So emotional at that moment. So any happy moments? Wow moments?
Yeah. Well, my favorite happy moments happen all the time, because like when I sit down with somebody for the first time and they come into my office and they're sitting there and they're saying, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know if I can do this. When can I retire? All of that. When I finish drawing the clock presentation on the board and they see that and they're like, oh, I'm going to be okay. And I see that light in their eyes and that just weight drop off their shoulders. Like, that feels great. That's why I keep doing this. That's why I built the thing and shared it in the app, because I want to have that feeling happen all over the world, even if I don't get to see it. You know, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing that we get the opportunity to give people peace of mind. That's what we really give them. And you'll know you're doing your job right when you visibly watch the peace of mind happen on your client's face right in front of you. So yeah, that's a happy moment.
That's great. Happy moments on sharing. So we'll move on to the next question now. So we got other 3 more questions now. We are heading to the 18th question now.
Sure.
So it's Chirian John from UAE. How do you set up your goals, and what are the steps you follow and implement which promote you to take action to reach to the top?
Okay, that's a fun one. So in my, guys, I swear to God, I'm not trying to push my book. That's not the point. But there's a thing in my book that I do, and I do it personally, and it's there, and I tell other people to do it in my first book. So my first book, I put an exercise in there, and I have all my new employees do this too. And the first time, and I'm going to tell you what the exercise is. You don't have to buy the book. You can do the exercise. I'm going to tell you right now everything you need to know to do the exercise. So grab a sheet of paper, grab a pen, schedule a cup of coffee with yourself. Like whatever you like, whatever it is, block the world out and go sit down with a piece of paper and a pen. And then sit down and think about 100 things you've done in your life that you feel good about. The first 20 to 30 are going to pop by your accomplishments. First 20 or 30 are going to pop out pretty quick. You'll struggle a little bit to get to 50. And then 50 to 100 are tough. You're dredging the barrel. You're thinking about, but don't stop. You got to get to 100. I don't care if it's, I got the third place in the swimming competition when I was 6 years old. You know, put it on the list if it makes you feel good, if it's something you've done in your life. Then that's part one. Set it aside. Don't evaluate. Don't reflect. Just sleep on it. The next day, look back at the list. Circle the top 10 things that you're most proud of. And it'll put you in exactly the right mindset to tackle the next project. Now, you grab your yellow pad or your sheet of paper with your pen with a clean sheet. And now with the clarity of mind of what you care about the most, you write the top 100 things you want to do before you die. And you get to 100. And then you sleep on it. And the next day you look back at that list and circle your top 10 and make sure you're crossing at least one off every year. It's that simple.
Top 10. So we have to do it daily basis on that.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, we will move forward on the next question. Yeah. How do you start selling eye protections? Not only a retirement plan, but very high premium of protections. To whom do you sell it your first time? Did you do it alone or did you associate with someone else? And how old or when you are, what happened? What
Sure.
that happens? Okay. So it's from Digigo, Mexico.
Okay. So my whole focus with clients has always been about them and saying, what do they need? But I've been strategic about it as well. Look, talk to somebody else who's sold some big cases that you would like to, and find out who they sold them to, not the people's names, but the story. What's the story behind the big case? There are fact patterns there. The client didn't do it because they were taken advantage of or because it wasn't in their best interest. They did it because it made sense for them to do it. Learn what that situation looks like that makes sense for a big case to happen. Then make sure you're able to fix that problem. Then go out and find people with that problem. It's not trying to sell a big case. Here's this really cool shiny toy that I want somebody to buy. It's let's go find out what the problem is that those big cases fix. Then go make sure you can fix it, and then go find somebody with that problem and help them fix it. You know, we're all here to help each other. You're going to earn more the more you do for other people. Those are big problems that get fixed with those big cases. And it's just, you have to learn, sharpen the saw and have to learn about it. The biggest cases that I've written in the last year. You know, I mean, I've had some cases, 500,000 in target in US dollars and target premium in one case, you know, in the last year. That stuff has US dollars. That, you know, that doesn't happen all the time. I probably wouldn't have discovered that years ago. I had to learn about a particular strategy, about a particular fix and a particular problem, and go out and start working with it. And that's how that came to be. But before that, you know, I mean, I guess I was always writing 25, you know, somewhere between $15,000 and $30,000 target US dollar cases pretty regularly. And once you write one big one, 5 more come out that are just like it. That's just the nature of it. And there's a whole new level that you have to reach to get to the next big level. And it's just kind of the way we work. So go for your biggest case and go out there and find another one just like it. Pretty soon you'll find one that's a little bit bigger and you'll just climb up.
Will this any strategic on this TOT members? Will they have to focus on more big cases, or they should have been a regular cases on regular basis? How this it work on this monthly basis, on how this people?
So that's the beauty of our career, is that we get to decide what kind of business we want. I've met some phenomenal Mdrt TOT members that are elephant hunters. That's all they do. They just go out and look for big cases and they write big cases, and that's it. And that's what makes them happy. And I'm happy for them. That's not what I've done. You know, I keep trying to serve as many people as I can and fix their problems. And so I have a lot more clients with a lot more, you know, some small and some medium and some large cases. I get a lot more variety in that. but I also have to serve a lot more people. Now, I like to serve, so that's okay. I serve a lot of people. That feels good. That makes me happy. I could probably make a lot more money if I served only 1 in 5 of the people that I actually serve and just focused on only serving people like them. I could probably double, triple, quadruple my revenue if I only served people that had higher amounts of money. But I don't want to do that yet. Maybe one day I'll do more of that, but right now there's still a lot of people that need my help, and I'm just trying to figure out how do I help them. I don't want to leave them behind. So, make sense?
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
So we go for the last question now. So it's John from Hong Kong. How to upgrade my client base and reach out the high network clients?
Got it. So if you haven't segmented your clients yet, you need to do that. You need to look at your existing clients, all the people that you've got that are clients on your books, and determine who are my top 20%. Pareto's principle talks about 80% of your revenue usually comes from 20% of your clients. So who's the top 20%? Who are those top 20? And then that top 20% of your clients, go spend time with them. Whatever they like to do, whatever you like to do and they like to do together, do it together. Spend time with them. Get to know them. What do they care about? The more you learn about your top 20% and really get what matters to them, the more you will connect with other people just like it, and you'll replicate your best ones. And if you don't already have the people you want to be working with, if you don't even have a client base yet of people you want to work with, think about it and get specific. Who do you want to work with? What do you love doing? I mean, if you love fancy cars, go hang out and talk to people who have money with fancy cars. You know, like you can talk shop with them. If you like scuba diving, go scuba dive with some people. You know, like there's all kinds of things. Join clubs that are around. There's plenty of virtual clubs out there. People are lonely these last few months. You know, go make some friends online and do Zoom meetings with them and get to know them. If they like the same thing as you, you know, you'll have something to talk about. And then you let them know what you do. And if you're there to help and you're truly there to help, why wouldn't they want to work with you?
That's good one. So we completed the 20 questions, and I hope Tim, you will be happy about all these 20 questions. And just want to share you one happy moment which been clicked on Sydney. So this is a happy moment. We clicked on Sydney.
That was cool.
So
Nice.
I believe that I'm missing the NIM. So still, I love this picture. So thanks for being so friendly and being a mentor for so many years. Things you've been teaching a lot of things, and we make this particular 2020 show, make it the purpose of the show means fulfilled. So I'm happy about that. That's a great memories in Sydney. We took the picture on that. So now we will move to the members. Look forward to questions into the chat box.
We will kill ya.
No.
What? No.
Closer, dude. It will come inside.
No, let me.
So members have any questions, kindly drop it in the chat box. So Tim will be answering the questions for that. Or you can take the mic and you can ask the questions also.
Hi team, Saurav here.
Hey, good to see you.
Hey.
I'm so sorry it's so late for you guys. I apologize. I thank you for being here live.
No, we are enjoying a lot of learning. And can you please explain the goal setting exercise once again, if you don't mind?
Yeah, sure. I can repeat it. So schedule an appointment with yourself. Write down a list of 100 things you've already accomplished in your lifetime that you feel good about. Get all the way to 100 before you get up. Then go to sleep for the next day, and then the next day, come back, grab that list, pick your top 10 that you're most proud of, and circle them. And in that appointment, right after you circle them, then go ahead and get a clean sheet of paper and write your top 100 that you want to accomplish before you die. Top 100 accomplishments you want to have before you die, your bucket list. Then put that away, go to sleep, and the next day come back and look at your bucket list and decide which are your top 10 and which ones are you going to check off this year and go make it happen. Does that make sense?
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, sure. Well, if, yeah, ISAKTHI, of course.
Any more questions in there? Do you have any more questions you can ask?
I have a question.
Ah!
Well, thank you very much, Tim, for all the sharing. You know, with all the success that you've had and experienced over the years, what's next?
Well, I've launched 5 different businesses now, in addition to my holistic financial planning practice. So I'm writing my 3rd book, which is technically my first fiction book. So I'll get that done hopefully this next year, and still working on, just trying to make a difference in the way. My goal in the United States, at least, financial planners in general are not, I believe, sadly, perceived with a really great light. There's been too many negative things about our industry that has changed the way people look at what we do for a living. And I would like to build a group of people that when the public looks at us, they say, I don't know about other financial planners, but I can at least trust them. And I want to change the image of what it is to be a financial advisor in the United States and hopefully around the world, because I think we deserve better positive feelings about what we do. 99% of the people I meet in our industry are amazing. Some of the most selfless people you would ever meet in your life. And yet we all have this reputation of being these used car salesmen in these people's minds out there. And it just kills me. So I'd like to try to fix that. That's one of my big objectives over the next 6 years.
Amen.
All the best, Tim, for that.
Thanks, Stephen.
So, friends, any more questions to Tim?
Yeah, one question from me.
Yeah, Dipesh, yeah.
Yeah, good morning, team. This is Dipesh Gandhi from India.
Good morning.
So, yeah, so we have seen in the financial markets, every 10 years, there is some market ups and downs. So whether it is subprime crisis or it is the corona effect. So what is the right advice for the clients? Whether we should run for the guaranteed returns or we should chase the returns? We should chase the guarantee or we should chase the returns?
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of bucket planning. And I'm sure you have some familiar with the concept of bucket planning, but I take the money that my clients need in the next 5 years and keep that very safe, the guaranteed return type stuff. Money that they don't need for 5 years, between like 5 and 10, we can take a little more risk with that. And money that they have 10 or more years away before they're going to touch it, they can take whatever risk is appropriate for their maximum level of risk with that, because they've got time. So that way they have time in the market. So I don't get pinned when a client asks me about near-term performance of the market. I don't try to predict the near term, because I just hope that over the long run, 5 years, 10 years plus, we're going to see a positive upward momentum. And that's how I feel like I can solidify that. That being said, at least in the US, there's products where you can kind of have your cake and eat it too. And I know that that's not necessarily the case worldwide. So I don't know what availability is available in your country, but we have products where you can invest aggressively and still have guarantees on them. And that's pretty cool.
One more question adding to that. Do you have in US a variable annuities or guaranteed annuities? In India, we have the guaranteed annuities, not variable annuities.
Yeah, we have both. Yeah, variable annuities and guaranteed annuities. The fixed indexed annuities are pretty cool here too. I try to use annuities where clients don't ever give up their real money, their principal. Classic annuities, you give it up and then they get an income stream and that's gone when they die. We don't use that very often in the US. It's usually ones where they get to keep the money. It does whatever it's going to do. And then there's usually an insurance benefit in case it doesn't perform well. And that's kind of the way they work. But you can always take your real money back if you want to in most of the annuities that exist, fixed indexed annuities or variable annuities.
And one more question, just allow me, Sakti, if you allow me. Okay, so I am an insurance agent, always doing my MDRT on the basis of the insurance premium I write. not by the annuities is the byproduct we have, but not the health insurance and debt parameters count in our MDRT performance. So what should I do? I have been consecutive 3 years MDRT. Now I want to upgrade myself to COT. So what should I do? Only on the basis of the insurance premium I write.
Right. So what I would do first, I would solve the problem backwards. So I would say, how much money do I have to, how much premium do I need to write over the year to hit that level? And then I would determine how many cases can I write per week? What's my normal week like? Do I write 3 a week? Do I write 6 a week? Do I write 2 a week? Whatever that number is that you feel like you can write. And then how many weeks of the year do I work? I want to take maybe 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off. Okay. If you take 3 weeks a year off, you have 49 working weeks. If you write 3 cases per week, you're going to write about pretty close to 150 cases, right? About 147. If you have X amount you need to qualify for, divide that 147 into that. That's your average case size. If you're writing cases that are smaller than that, it will take you longer. You need to write more cases. So look at your average case size that you need to make to write in order to achieve those goals, as well as the number, and then work with people only that you're going to write that case size on. You've got to write cases of that level or you're never going to reach it. You're going to be continually working with writing too many small cases. So that's the way I would approach it first.
Okay. Thank you very much. Nice suggestion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Pleasure to see you.
We got one question in the chat box that health insurance premium was counted for MDRT.
Yeah, I think it is. I don't write health insurance.
No, Shakti, it is not a question. Just a gentleman asked that this health insurance premium was not counted for MDRT, so that I clarified that it was counted for MDRT.
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
Cool.
So, any more questions, friends?
So we're good for now?
Yeah.
If anybody has any questions, they watch this recorded, they're welcome to send me an email. My email is, I don't know if ISAKTHI has that or not, but it's tclairmont@clearfp.com. So you're welcome.
Please Sakti, drop the email in the our group also.
Yeah, sure. I'll just share the screen one more time. Now we're just moving to the third program. So looking for each one of you, just give your feedback on, we have our official email, ISAKTHI ILLC2020@gmail.com and shaktibirla@gmail.com. And you can able to follow me on Facebook is there, LinkedIn. We have this all this format, so I will share you this into your mail ID. Kindly give your feedback and what is looking for, and even able to give you what questions you want, what kind of programs you're looking for when next 2020 program, as well as you can drop the questions also. We will take the right questions and we will ask the experts to give the answer back to that. So you can able to always do that. I believe each one of you do that. And
one last question, if you don't mind.
What is it?
Yeah. Tim, can you just explain a little bit about the clock presentation? Is it possible now?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, real briefly at least. The video on the app is great. You can do that, and you can also Google Tim Clairmont clock MDRT, and it should come up to watch the little video there too. But in a nutshell, the first money that people touch is income sources, stuff you really can't do a lot about. Fixed income streams, Social Security, pensions, their job, whatever they earn from work, full-time or part-time. I total that up in the first box and then call that paycheck part 1. And then when they go to retire and they stop, a lot of that stuff goes away. If most of it's coming from their jobs, you can just kind of cross that off and say, hey, when you retire, this is what's left. So, that's not enough to live on. So we need paycheck part 2. That's the second box. The second box is income assets. It's the goose that lays the golden eggs. So we're just trying to get the goose as big as possible and get the eggs as big as possible off the goose. And the eggs really represent paycheck part 2. So they live on paycheck part 1 and paycheck part 2 on a regular basis. When things get tight and they need more money, they go to quadrant 3, which is their emergency money and fund money, their liquid assets. And so that's where we break that out. And I explain how with emergency money, everybody has a comfort level amount, something they want to keep safe and liquid to feel comfortable. So I explain how to create that number, and that's their guilty bucket. They don't want to have that go down, or they should feel guilty. And then their fun money is their fun money, and that can have an unlimited amount of money in it. They can do all kinds of fun stuff with that. And that's their guilt-free bucket. And they can spend on whatever they want. They put it there for that purpose. And when things are tight on their paycheck and they've blown all their liquid assets and they need more money, they go to the fourth and final quadrant, which is their backup and legacy money. And that's where their equity in their home is. That's where their business equity is. That's where their life insurance death benefits are. And we'll categorize that. So when you finish that and you've gone around in a clockwise capacity, there's absolutely nothing else they can come up with to do with their money. And so all you have to do now is say, what do you have and where does it go? Because if it's for this purpose, I have a totally different plan A, plan B, plan C. If it's for this, I have a different ABC. This is a different ABC. And if you just brought a statement to me and I told you this sucks, let's do this instead, I'm not doing you justice. What's it for first? So you got to tell me what it's for, and then I can tell you the best way to plan with it. So that's it in a nutshell.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome, guys. Thank you for your time. I hope it was
Thank
worth
you.
your 90 minutes.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Tim. I'm happy that as you always been so friendly when I given the request for our first show of 2020. I think you would have liked the show. I think you liked the show and with all these questions, Tim.
Yes, I did. I thought it was great. Thank you. I feel bad I monopolized so much of the time, but I guess that's what I'm trying to do here anyway. So thank you guys for being interested in listening.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you,
thank you
Timo,
very
and,
much
thank you,
once
Shakti.
again, Shakti and team. Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Thank you so much, all friends. And these particular web we have been uploading into the YouTube, so you can just subscribe our YouTube channel and ILLC, and even you can just share to your friends. So anybody is so key on importance on team presentation, we will share the link also, so they can able to, because of the time concern. So tomorrow we will share the links to all the groups and Facebook also. So anybody want to go and reconnect and thing, and any questions or anything, always welcome. Just drop us back and we'll do it. I hope everyone would have liked it, and this could be a different experience compared to a normal webinar. So you got any questions about any thing on prospecting or referrals or lead generations, about MDRTs or anything, just drop us the questions. We will ask the questions when the webinars and future webinars. So look forward to see you all in future webinars with us 20 questions all the best. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
for the
Shakti.
wonderful time.
Thank you,
all.
Shakti.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Shakti.
you so
Thanks for
much.
taking the
Thank
time.
you. Good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank you, Shakti. Bye. Good night.
Thank you.
Bye, Shakti.
Yeah, thank you.